And a very good morning to you. It's Friday, the first day of September 1995. It is time for Mary Michele taking your calls on astrology at 241-1310. We have an open line now, 241-1310. First of all, Mary Michele, happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Mike.
It is your birthday.
It's my birthday today.
We sang to you once before, and you got a little older real quick when we did it. Happy birthday. Good morning.
I wanted to, I think on your birthday one should remember one's mother. And inasmuch as she brought me these flowers today, I think I just want to thank her very much for doing that. And also to say hello to my grandmother, who is going to be 92 Christmas Day. So hopefully I have that kind of longevity in the family. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to start the hour with some of the astrological insights or ideas for the week ahead. So this is Mary Michele for VIP, and some of the astrological notes for the week of September 4th, 1995. The moon in Aquarius this week is going to, when the kids go back to school and everybody starts back to work, it's going to make people feel a little unusual towards the beginning of the week. Then on towards the end of the week, we have the full moon, and it's this particular month, it's a full moon. It's called the harvest moon. It's a full moon in Pisces, and the harvest moon is the one that is the closest to the fall equinox. So sometimes it can happen early in September, and sometimes it can happen later because the fall equinox is actually September 23rd. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about a little bit was the nature of the equinox. And the equinox is when the sun crosses the equator. It happens twice a year. It makes the day and night of equal length. This one, on September 23rd, is when the sun enters Libra, and the one in the spring, March 21st, is when the sun enters Aries. It is said that the Earth is in such balance at these times that you can balance an egg on its head. So anyway, I wanted to just talk about the full moon in the sense that this full moon for the week ahead is going to be one where we can try and think of things as being a little bit more in balance. Whatever balance comes to you on Thursday at the full moon, you will feel that again when the autumnal equinox actually happens on the 23rd of September. And that's really the way astrology works. It's about things relating to each other. You have to think in terms of the fact that this full moon will relate to the sun when the sun enters Libra and the day of the year when times are the same. So now for the sun in Aries for the week ahead. This is for September 4th, 1995. I'm Mary Michele for WVIP. And the sun in Aries, the ruler of Aries, Mars, is opposing the sign of Aries right now. So the natural inclination of Aries to fight battles head-on is being frustrated. Mars, the planet of action and direct confrontation, is being asked to dance the waltz. And as you can imagine, he doesn't really like that. Diplomacy and discretion are not his strong point. Let's see. The moon for the week is in the house of hopes and wishes and dreams. So you will be stirring others to take risks this week as well as yourself. The sun in the sign of Taurus. The week starts off with getting lots of help from educators. So this is particularly good for kids that are going back to school and so on, but even people that might be starting new jobs. There might be some activity in the social scene that will overflow from work areas. So there's a connection here between work and social. Venus, your ruler, is in Virgo in the 5th house. This is a good sign. There's there's a sense of fun, enjoying work and enjoying being with children. And it's a good time to invest in the stock market. So all in all, it's a good time for this week is a good time for the sign of Taurus. The sun in Gemini. Let's see. The moon starts off in the 8th house. It goes through the 9th and into the 10th. The career issues are highlighted this week. There's a need for hard work, lots of details. Out of that will come some inspiration and then some fight for what you need. The sun is squaring your sun right now in the 4th house of the home, so there's some tension about where you are living and how you feel it must change. You may want to move. I wouldn't suggest it right away, but there will be that inclination. Your ruler Mercury is in harmony with your sun. Mercury in Libra in the solar chart in your 5th house makes you very funny and entertaining, and you can lighten up these issues by seeing the humor and realizing in 6 months everything will have changed again. I'm going to take a break now because I think there's a phone call.
Yes, there is. And let's say good morning now to Michael. Michael's date of birth is July 1st, 1942, 7142. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning,
You're calling
Mike.
from Bedford Corners. You're on with Mary Michele.
Good morning, Mary Michele.
Good morning.
And happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, 1942, July 1st. Okay, you have the sun in Cancer. Oops. Hello?
Hi.
I'm gone.
Hello.
No,
Sorry.
you're on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry. Okay, the sun in Cancer, the moon in Virgo. No, wait a minute. Sorry. The moon in Aquarius. Mercury in Gemini, Venus in Gemini. You know, all these planets in air signs, it makes you very quick to be able to think. Your mind is very active, and you have the ability to, come up with new ideas and think of things. And particularly with the moon in Aquarius, it gives you unusual ideas. So things will be a little different in the way that you think about things. So even with the sun in Cancer, there's this very mental-oriented part of your personality. Was there a particular question that you had?
No, just in general, you kind of answered it. I wasn't familiar with what my components were and what it all meant and how it bears on my MO, so to speak, but it makes great sense.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for calling.
And beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Michael. We're going to have a couple more calls. Why don't you go on with the weekly horoscope? This is Mary Michele, and we are doing astrology here at 241-1310. If you have a call, please give us one. If you have a question, give Mary Michele a call. It is 9:14 at WVIP. We will be back with more right after this. For the best fuel oil service and burner installation, remember the name Marshall. Marshall Oil, offering fast 24-hour emergency service, convenient budget plans, and a large inventory of replacement parts. The Marshall family has been committed to serving your neighbors and local businesses for over 57 years. And they're ready to serve you with warm, safe oil heat. Now that the warm weather is here, Marshall Oil services and cleans your boilers to keep you comfortable year-round. Marshall Oil can keep you cool and refreshed all summer long with top-quality pool water at a price you can afford. Marshall's 6,000-gallon pool trucks are as clean as a whistle, and they deliver your water on time. For the lowest possible prices and fast, dependable service, call Marshall Oil, 764-5766. That's 764-5766. Marshall Oil, a name that stands for service. All right, we're on with Mary Michele. Good morning now to Thomas. Thomas, you're obviously listening somewhere in New Jersey. 6156, date of birth. Good morning. You're on with Mary Michele.
Thank you.
Good morning.
And a very good morning to you, Mary Michele.
Thank you.
Don't you think that the audience deserves some sort of self-examination on a day like this?
I was going to get to it. Let me look at something for you. Was there a particular question that you had?
Well, I'm working on this this rather large performing arts project.
Okay.
I was wondering what kind of shape it will be taking over the next, next 6 months.
Okay, great. All right, I will have a look. You have the sun in Gemini, June 1st, and you have the moon in Pisces. Mercury in Uranus, Venus in Cancer, Mars in Uranus. So there's this, let's see. Well, there's a lot of air signs, so there's a lot of mental activity, and the way in which you make this happen is by your, very strong ways of communicating and coming up with new and different ideas. So I think that you will continue to do that, and it will be an ongoing thing for you. With the moon in Pisces, the planet Saturn is going over the moon until April of next year. So there is a feeling of with the unconscious, there's a feeling of being frustrated. There's like a heaviness that's sitting on your will. It also is squaring your sun. So I think really until April of 96, you will continue to do well in terms of communicating and talking and selling your project and coming up with new ideas for people with the way that you're going to be doing this. But I think that the actual breakthrough will happen in April.
In April, that will, when you say a breakthrough, does that mean, what does breakthrough mean?
It means that the planet Saturn will have moved on, so you won't feel as confined. The projects that you start and the people that you talk to and so on will actually, they will always be excited by your enthusiasm and respond well to you and so on, but they might actually be more active about doing something about it in April. So it's, continue to work. It's just that at times it might feel like a bit of an uphill struggle.
Oh, that's great. Well, I always appreciate your advice. It always has the best reflection on my life, and I love calling up.
Thanks so much for calling.
Okay, thank you for calling. It is 18 minutes past the hour at 1310 in Cable Channel 12, WVIP. Mary Michele, can you do a couple more of your weekly outlooks now? Maybe we can go through Cancer, Leo, and Virgo. Is that a possibility?
That's a possibility. Okay,
why don't we do that, and then we're going to get to Veronica, who is calling from Bedford Hills, but let's go through Sun and Cancer, okay?
All right, the Sun and Cancer. This is a week for you to be very philosophical about your partner. There are always disagreements in partnerships, but with the full moon coming up, towards the end of the week in Pisces, there will be sort of emotional issues that come up, particularly in relationship to your partners. It will start towards the beginning, but then it'll come to some kind of a head towards Thursday or Friday. Your need to control through nurturing is why you find it so hard to understand why others don't accept when you take such good care of them. So it's kind of a backhanded thing with this nurturing thing. You have to be very careful when you nurture. When Mars goes into Scorpio, your ability to understand the needs of fighting will get a lot better. Okay, so now for the Sun in the sign of Leo. Money is key this week. You might be asking for a raise or trying to borrow some. Let's see, Mars, the planet of action, is in the third house in Libra until Thursday, so you want to get this done before the end of the week. You may have to compromise with any deals you have planned. It may be that you have to even ask a family member for collateral. Okay, the Sun in Virgo. Your ruler, Mercury, is in the second house, so again there will be issues around money and thinking of ways to make money, not necessarily implementing them, but definitely thinking about them. You are looking very good. It's a week to, take care of yourself physically. Your sense of self-worth should be on the increase. And you are dealing a lot with relationships. The full moon in your opposite sign of Pisces will cause you to, want to enjoy your partner or that new person that's come into the picture. You have to relax about your work. Things are taking care of themselves. It is practically impossible for you to stop worrying, but you have to try. Okay, for the Sun in Libra, you're going to have to work out some details around the house. Elderly people will require extra attention, and you may have real estate on the brain. You may really feel like you have to move, a strong itch to move. You may feel a little sleepy, a little tired, and give in to it. Have a nap from time to time. You may decide this is the week to really start that new exercise routine. So you'll want to do both, from exercising and taking a rest, taking a nap. Okay, I'm going to stop for a minute, and I'm going to come back to the astrological horoscopes.
Okay. Right now, we are going to talk to Veronica. Date of birth is February 5th, 1963. 2563. Veronica, you're from Bedford Hills. Are you watching or listening?
Both.
Okay, she's doing both. You got us in stereo. Good morning to you. You're on with Mary Michele.
Hi.
Good morning, Veronica. February 2nd?
February 5th.
February 5th, 1963. Okay. Was there a particular question?
Well, actually, I'm getting ready to get involved romantically with another Aquarian, and I was wondering if it was a good idea.
Well, sparks will fly. It's always, they're Aquarius is the sign of people that want to, get on the soapbox and find new things to fight for and new ideas and so on. So if you've got two people, the odds are it won't be exactly the same. But, it can be fun. It can definitely be fun. You have the moon in Cancer. You have Venus in Capricorn, and Mercury in Capricorn and Venus also in Capricorn and Mars in Leo. Let's see. If the Mars in Leo is probably going to make the attraction quite strong to this person. Leo is the opposing sign to Aquarius. So in life we really always want to realize our opposite. For you, with the Mars opposing the Sun, there might be an element sometimes where you buck authority, which is something that Aquarius does anyway, so it's kind of a double bang. Is that something that you have trouble with?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Is this guy someone that has an authoritative nature?
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the part of it that you're going to have trouble with. But that's also what makes him attractive to you. So it's kind of a double whammy here. I don't know. I mean, I think that the nature of relationships is that we just have to work on them. And I think it can be fun, and you always learn something. In terms of the long term, I can't exactly say, but you are in a better period now than you were 5 years ago in terms of being able to have a long-term relationship.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Thank you for calling. When we get back with Mary Michele, we're going to continue with your weekly horoscope. We'll start off with Scorpio, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments. We have an open line at 241-1310. If you have a question for Mary Michele, give us a call now. 647. All right, we're back with Mary Michele now at 241-1310 if you have a question for her. Mary Michele, why don't you do a couple more of the weekly prognostications? We're up to Scorpio.
Okay. For the Sun in Scorpio, communication is essential this week. The week starts off with the moon in the third house, and this is going to mean that you're really going to have to try to communicate with people better and figure out exactly what it is that you need to say. Try to be very specific about your needs. There may be changes in the routines, particularly around the home front. How you are with the family will be a good indication of how you are with outside influences. This is important as you have the opportunity now to really enjoy the new people coming into your life. Your ancient ruler, Mars, goes direct this week, and you will be taking the initiative in all that you do. We talk about the ancient ruler, Mars, because today Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. But always in astrology, we have to look at both. We have to look at the older gods, the ones that are planets that we first dealt with, and also with the newer ones. So, okay, so should I go on into the Sun in Sagittarius? So the Sun in Sagittarius, there is a push to excess this week. Allow yourself the time to think. You have to really think, and think about the ones that are closest to you. Your ruler Jupiter is in the first house, which makes you want to expand and be overly generous. You have to be careful with Jupiter. He's the planet that you weigh the most on. If we went to Jupiter, we would weigh like 10 times what we weigh here. So what can happen is that you can explode, and you have to be very careful about being overly generous and so on. Sometimes giving someone what they say that they want can be disastrous. So, Jupiter has the tendency to want to, make it a party and have everybody get what they say they want. So you have to be careful not to do so much of that this week. You adapt easily, but too much of being the willow instead of the oak is not good. It's a mutable sign, Sagittarius, so there is the tendency to want to go in the wind. Get the people in your life organized and then let them go. You need to travel in your mind's eye. I think I'll take a break now and take a call.
Okay, on the phone with us now is Illy, date of birth July 19th, 1946. Illy, you're telling me you're calling from where?
From Bucharest, Romania.
Bucharest. Mary Michele, do you know this person?
I'm afraid I do.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations for getting through to the U.S.
Well, he's a very clever fellow. He can usually get what he wants. And thanks so much for calling. Tell me, was there a particular question that you had?
I'm starting this business in Romania. I want to know if I do well or not.
Okay. You were born with the sun in Cancer and the moon in Scorpio. When you set your mind to work hard at something, there's no question that you're extremely good at it. You have Mercury in Leo. This is also fixed. You will stay with something. You'll stay with it to the end. Venus in Gemini. Mars in Taurus. There's a lot of fixed planets here, and with the cardinal sun, with the sun that likes to lead, as long as you're in a position of authority in these enterprises, I think that you will stick to it, and the odds are that there will be good things that will come from that. Let me just see exactly if I can give you a time frame that I think it will get better. I think as early as January. Yeah, as early as January when Jupiter moves into the sign of Capricorn, that planet of expansion and the good things coming back to you. Your Jupiter, your natal Jupiter, is in the sign of Virgo, so there will be a harmonious angle between these two planets. So there should definitely be some money coming in January.
Will be good.
Okay.
How rich I can get, Mary?
Well, the only person that limits you is yourself,
I'll try very hard.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for calling. We're talking to Mary Michele. This is Friday. It's the 1st of September. By the way, I don't know if you know the expression rabbit, when people, is there an astrological reason for this, or what does it mean?
I don't really know, but my association would immediately go to the nature of rabbits and what rabbits like to do and what we tend to think about, how they like, there gets to be a lot of them. And I think that, the first of the month, it's about, new beginnings. It's about and also we tend to think of rabbits in the springtime. So I'm just making associations, which is really what astrology is about. It's trying to take these free associations and see how we work with them. But if you think of rabbits, you think of the spring, you think of Easter, you think of new beginnings, you think of children. There's something very playful about them. And I also associate them with the sign of Aries somehow, which is the spring. The beginning of the spring.
All righty. When we come back, and we do have an open line at 241-1310, Mary Michele will give you your weekly outlook for Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. That comes up a couple of seconds away here on WVIP. If you have a particular question for Mary Michele, 241-1310, the number to call. Come to the 71st Annual Yorktown Grange Fair, September 7th through the 10th at Rochambeau Park Fairgrounds. The Yorktown back with Mary Michele on WVIP, and we do have an open line at 241-1310. Mildred, if you'd hold for a couple of seconds, I want Mary Michele to go through Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Did I get them all? Yes.
Okay, hi. Yeah, I'm going to wrap up the horoscopes now. I'm Mary Michele, and the final three signs. The first one is Capricorn. Sun in Capricorn. It's going to be a tough week for finding the right words to express yourself. There's definitely a hindrance in the area of communication. You're usually somebody that's very prepared, so stay prepared, be on track, and even if things start to get a little disjointed, realize that you've probably already created the discipline and the work structure to be able to get through it. All in all, it is a very good, harmonious week for you. The full moon will be in the third house, so it will be in dealing with neighbors and siblings. You'll be, probably getting together towards the end of the week with people in your immediate vicinity and, finding something that you need to talk about with them. And, just continue to try to talk as much as you can. It's not a natural inclination of Capricorn to be very verbal. Fairness is important to you, and you're very good at it, and your decisions concerning your business are very, very good. The sun in Aquarius. You may want to help out this week with other people, and particularly at your place of worship, or partake in a political conversation. You could help resolve those local issues, whatever they may be, but your ideas will certainly be helpful. Others may not hear you right away, and the nature of Aquarius is it's a bit ahead of its time always, but if you take the time, your observations will sink in and they will get it. So just, realize, have some faith in that. The full moon in your house of finances will bring clarity to how much value you bring to the way you make money. So it's, money will be on the forefront of your mind as well this week. Now for the sun in Pisces, you need to be very, very specific about what you need. This is difficult for Pisces. Pisces, as a rule, is a sign that likes to communicate in the natures of illusions, it's or images. It's not someone that's terribly verbal. So you have to be very, very specific. Your ruler Neptune in the house of hopes and wishes and desires makes these things important to talk about. Don't just try to accommodate the feeling of others. Enjoy observing how others ask for what they want, and then you can do it your own way. I'm Mary Michele, and the words of Hermes on the emerald tablet, as above, so below. Be well. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, we have an open line at 241-1310. Mary Michele is with us. Mildred is on line 1. Mildred is calling from Mount Kisco, watching on Cable Channel 12. Date of birth is March 18th, 1926. Good morning, Mildred.
Good morning, Mildred. Did you have a particular question?
No, not really.
Okay. So you have the sun in Pisces, and you have the moon in Taurus, and you have Mercury in Aries and Venus in Aquarius. You're a very grounded person. You give people a very strong sense of security. The moon in Taurus is about someone that gets what they need, and conversely, they also make others feel very, very comfortable about what it is that they may want and need. And Pisces is the sign of strong compassion and so on. So, in general, you make others feel pretty good about themselves. Is this something that rings true to you? Hello?
Oh, I don't know. Not really.
Not really?
No.
Okay. Well, I think you probably do. So, it's also a little bit difficult sometimes to realize that others feel that way about you. Mercury in Aries, there is a strong initiative. You take the initiative always when you need to start a conversation or to, you're not afraid to have a confrontation with when you need to talk about it. You have Venus in Aquarius. Sometimes you'll have some very unusual ideas about the way you want to look or dress in your home and the way you take care of things around your home. Do you like to decorate?
I do.
You do. Would you say that sometimes your ideas are a little different, or do you think that you're always pretty much in step with what people are, what's in fashion at the moment?
I would say so.
Probably so. I'm having a little trouble hearing you because of the feedback from the radio or television. Okay, you have Mars in Capricorn. You're a very hard worker. You have Jupiter in Aquarius and Saturn in Scorpio. So you have a Saturn-Moon opposition. You have... you probably at different times have had difficulties with some of the authority figures in your life. Perhaps there might have been men who felt that they should, tell you what to do. I don't think you stood for this too easily. Anyway, I think it's something you've probably learned something about by now. So I hope I've been helpful.
Sure.
And
Okay,
thank
you very much. And